Hello and welcome to another video. In the last video I gave some tips on working with remote workers. Now obviously in our line of business that means virtual assistants, but it's quite kind of transferable. This week I'm going to look at some things that are specific to virtual assistants, but I think again you can kind of substitute that with people working remotely for a few of them, and I think there's also some relevant transferable knowledge there as well. So I'm just going to look at 5 mistakes to avoid when working with a virtual assistant. Here goes. 1. Hiring a VA for the wrong reasons. Don't hire a virtual assistant just because it's what Tim Ferriss did. So think very carefully about what this person is going to do, the kind of tasks you want to delegate. And there are some exercises you can do, like auditing your sort of time to understand what it is that you can hand over, what it is that's taking up a lot of your time, what it is that's repetitive, that you can document so that you can actually kind of transfer the processes to someone else and then they can kind of take that off your plate. So think very carefully about that. Number 2, and this is eminently transferable to all different types of companies and workplaces. And that is a mistake that's often made, and people start looking at their virtual assistant simply as a cost. Now, don't do this. You're much less likely to sort of have a happy working relationship and get the most out of your virtual assistant if all you're always thinking about is how much this person is costing you. Now, we work with a lot of small businesses. We provide a solution for them to be able to actually outsource a bit of work without having to take on full-time staff, etc. I know that the reason they come to us is also a cost-based decision. I'm not saying don't think about money at all, but look at your virtual assistant as an investment. Essentially, it is an investment in your business. They will help you take the load off. You will be able to delegate work across to them. You give something to them, it gives you the room and the capacity to learn more and to grow your business. 3, failing to get the most from your virtual assistant. Now, micromanaging is likely to have the opposite effect to that which you intend. So you need to be giving your assistant a certain amount of freedom. Give them the freedom that is kind of feasible for what they need to accomplish. This is going to reduce your workload, so you need to make the process of delegation as successful as possible. It makes more sense to start off slowly, and we usually advise clients to do just that. Feel your way in. Don't start, taking someone on to work for 80 hours a month and then not be able to fill that time, for sure. Maybe also start with some simpler kind of admin tasks, but you should also explore more creative tasks so that you get the most out of your virtual assistant. Find out what they like doing, find out what they're good at, and exploit that, because it may be more than just the first things that you had in mind that you wanted to pass across. You may be able to get a lot more out of this person, which again helps you grow your business. Number 4, failing to prepare adequate documentation. Don't leave things to chance. I mean, imagine if you need to scale up, for example, and you want your assistant to be able to teach things to someone else, or you want to be able to bring someone on board to kind of be doing the same job as the assistant you've taken on. Then, if you've got everything documented, you've been through the process once, you've got everything kind of written out, you can pass that on, and it's going to make the delegation process and the teaching process again that much quicker. You may as well use that person to help you put in place these processes, write down these processes, instructions. There are some very easy ways to do this through a video, for example, which is quite often much clearer and unambiguous. It also gives you the chance to demonstrate something if you're using some kind of screen recording. And it's also something that your assistant and other people down the line can then keep going back and referring to without necessarily picking up the phone or shooting off another email into your already crowded inbox. So prepare adequate documentation. Number 5, not communicating well enough. I suppose this one touches on a lot of all the ones that we've already spoken about. But don't restrict your communication to a kind of flood of emails on a Monday morning. I want this, so on and so forth. Use WhatsApp, Skype to actually speak to the person. This often helps, rather like the videos I spoke about previously, this often helps to avoid misunderstandings. And even if you do send your emails across, it's maybe worth having a weekly kind of catch up where you kind of get the chance, the VA gets a chance to ask you a few questions, and you can just sort of set them straight on the course you need them to be navigating if there are any problems. Be specific in your explanations and your expectations. We mostly use Asana, Trello and Slack for communicating around tasks, so as their project management tools or task management tools, but you don't have to use those. Use your own or come up with your own system. But I think making sure you have very open communication and regular communication is important. Video calls are great because when two people are looking each other in the eye, they concentrate on what they need to say. There are no other opportunities for distraction. You get a lot more done a lot more quickly in a video call. WhatsApp is also very popular with our clients communicating with their VAs. It is not a substitute, I think, for other methods of communication, but it does mean that a quick kind of message can answer a quick sort of question. Again, though, set the guidelines, because you don't want your virtual assistant dropping you a WhatsApp message every 10 minutes. And it's also true that they don't need you doing the same, because it's going to be very distracting and take them away from their work. So that's it for now. I will be back in a couple of weeks with another video. As always, if you have any comments, suggestions, you want to say anything, ask any questions, please feel free to drop a comment below. And you can also do so on the blog that accompanies this video, and that's on bizee.co/blog, bizee.co/blog. Thanks very much for your attention. I'll see you soon.